dive into the heart of the ongoing economic protests resonating with the anthem of end bad governance. Our country is bleeding and our people are suffering, and the only melody echoing from every corner is the lamentation of despair. So therefore, if you are watching us for the first time, please kindly like, comment and share this video to every media platform, and also don't forget to click on the notification icons to get more recommendations, and our video will be able to get in touch with you anytime we have a new one. Be condemned to this plight in our beloved Nigeria. Our economic lies in ruins, suffocating under the weight of corruption and mismanagement. From the bustling streets of Lagos to the remote villages, the cries of anguish are the same. Enough is enough. We the people have risen to demand accountability and justice. Our voices, once silenced by fear, now roar with a newfound courage. Our stage and our placard are our script, boldly declaring we deserve better, end the looting, and our future is not for sale. As the youth, we stand at the forefront of this movement. We are tired of empty promises and broken system. We've watched our dreams wither in the face of unemployment, our potential staved by an economy that refuses to strive. Inflation skyrocket, basic necessity become luxury, and yet our leaders continue to live in their opulent bubbles, deaf to our pleas. The hunger, the lack of opportunities, the everyday struggle to survive, these are our realities, and we ask, why should we suffer in silence? The protests are not just about economic hardship. They are a rebellion against decades of exploitation and neglect. The voice of human rights activists resonates with our own as they expose the brutal response of the government. Police brutality, arbitrary arrest, and a crackdown on free speech have become the government's weapon to silence us. But we will not be silent. A prominent human rights lawyer said it best the government iron fist with only galvanize our resolve. They must heed our call for change, not respond with violence and repression. Our struggle has found a powerful ally in social media. The stories of our fight, the images of our defiance, and the evidence of the authorities' excesses are shared across the globe. The world watches as we, the youth of Nigeria, take a stand for our future. We are not just protesting, we are reclaiming our voice, our dignity, and our right to a better life. We call upon every Nigerian, every ally, every believer in justice to stand with us. This is more than a protest. It's a movement, a revolution of the people's will. We will not rest until our demands are met, until our leaders recognize that they are accountable to us, the people. This is the request made by the protesters, which wasn't addressed by the president. So if you are watching this, join us in this fight for a just and equitable Nigeria. Like, comment and share this video on every platform. Let our message spread like wildfire, and don't forget to click the notification icon to stay updated with our latest spots.
Welcome to LAJUPOG issue.
The whole of crime scene
is happening in the street again.
The center of political news, celebrity gossip, religious gossip, and happiness in the society.
Join us, the voice of Africa.
Welcome back once again. After the relentless calls for redress and the fervent demands for economic reform, President Tinubu finally addressed the nation. However, his speech was a momentous letdown. Rather than tackling the burning issues head on, he chose to sidestep the critical concern raised by the people. It was a blatant insult to the intelligence of every Nigerian struggling under the weight of this economy. The citizens are now out in a rage. Their fury palpable as they reject his inadequate response with a resounding no, Mr. President, this is enough. Olojede, voicing the sentiment of the nation on Arise TV just a few hours ago, didn't hold back. Even if he addressed the issues raised by protesters, does it guarantee that something will happen? Enough talk. The problem lies in moving from talking to doing. Promises should translate into action. His speech will not lower food prices in the market. Olojede blunt assessment underscored the harsh truth. Nigerians are tired of being pacified with empty words. For years, they have been fed a steady diet of promises and reassurance, only to see them crumble into nothing less. The time for talk is over. What the people demand now is action, real, tangible, immediate change. The situation has become unbearable. Families can't afford basic necessities, and young people, the supposed future of the nation, are left with no prospect, no jobs, and no hope. The people are done with patience. They are done with waiting. Tinubu's speech, far from quelling the unrest, has only fueled the fire of discontent. It was a slap in the face to every Nigerian who believed that this time things might actually change. But how can they believe when they see no evidence of it. When food prices soar daily and the value of the naira plummet, speeches become meaningless. The people see through the facade. They know that words won't fill their stomach, won't pay their bills, won't secure their future. This is a call to action. The streets are not just filled with angry protesters, they are filled with a united people to hold their leaders accountable. The message to the government is clear. The time for lip service is over. The nation demands decisive concrete actions. Policies must be implemented immediately to curb inflation, create jobs, and ensure that every Nigerian can live with dignity and security. The frustration is boiling over, and the government lacks of genuine response in nothing short of infuriating. The people are not asking for miracles, they are demanding their basic human. Let's watch this video to hear Bola Ahmed powerful word and witness the reaction they have sparked among the public. The people are speaking loud and clear, and they will not be ignored.
That speech, did you feel a sense of contentment, as though the issues that have caused this protest or these protests nationwide have been addressed in any way, shape, or form?
I wasn't expecting a speech to address the issue because I've listened to many speeches in the past. My expectation goes beyond whatever a speech can do. That we need to move away from the point of saying to the point of doing. So, for example, some of the things that came up in the speech yesterday were also in the speech of July 30 or thereabout last year. The issue of what we're going to do in the space of agriculture to improve the food production. So, I think maybe the speech, if it will achieve some element of de-escalation, it might be said to be well worth it. But we're at a junction where we need to move to. It's in that place of actually doing. The CNG thing, we have been talking about it. It will make a difference because it's an alternative source of energy that is said to be cheaper than PMS. So instead of talking about it, let's ramp up actual actions in that space and deliver the CNG. The infrastructure, you can even go to the oil with the fuel issue, which was one of the demands. Had people say, take fuel back to 100 naira or sort of thing. Those things are not going to happen. So maybe a better demand will have been things around make the refineries work. We have the Dangote refinery, which is a private one. We have other private refineries. Let's support them to work. Let's make the public refinery also to work. Let's bring the CNG initiative to life. Those are the kind of things that will work. Taking fuel to 100 naira, even if you break the country apart, fuel will not go back to 100 naira. So let's leave impossible demands. Let's take all those things out from the words of the president. And I think we will actually achieve more from engagement. We've seen what is going on in the UK with protest. Mm-hmm. It has gone awry. There is massive looting going on in the UK. We saw the killings in Bangladesh. Yep. So I think we should move away from what the speech is about and, be able to sit down with the necessary relevant team of the president, engage properly to move into the space of action, doing, rather than we will, let's actually do it and let's see it. If people today begin to see prices of food items go down in the market, that is result. It is much more valuable than the most flowery and the most interesting speech that anybody can give.
All right, thank you for that. Now, I'm glad you mentioned the UK current situation, which was protests that deteriorated into riots. Now, Prime Minister Keir Starmer came out to address his people as well. He did so within 24 hours, I believe, of the riots commencing, and spoke in strong language that many people are saying. However, one of the key takeaways was that he acknowledged the fact that the protests had been hijacked by thuggery and that those people would face the full wrath of the law. Now, when people compare this, I believe this was within a 12-hour period from when President Tinubu delivered his speech. And people said, well, where is President Tinubu's commitment to ensuring that there is freedom of peaceful protest? And where is the accountability for the deaths that have been recorded? What were the circumstances around them? And are police who were witnessed as being heavy-handed, are they being held accountable? Do you think that he should have addressed these things in his speech, or do you think that the speech was fine as it was, just addressing sort of more economic issues?
Of course, anything that has to do with fundamental human rights, abuse of whatever form and shape it could be, loss of lives. Lives is precious, and this is the lives of Nigerians being lost. Of course, he mentioned it.
In passing.
In passing, okay. But one would have expected strong position on those matters. Of course, he could say, but the policemen also arrested maybe 800 people as well in Nigeria. So arrests were made, and maybe those people that were arrested will be prosecuted. We know the way it goes around here. After those arrests, nobody even will pay attention to what happens to those arrests after that. Whether they were prosecuted, whether they were released, nobody will know. It would have been nice for a president to speak strongly to matters that you just raised right now. I'm just trying to, you know, I've been around in this system for a while, and we've seen some of these things. Even if he has spoken to it, does it automatically translate to something will happen? Which is why my emphasis is enough of the talk. I saw something on your station earlier today, 2019, when the GMD of NNPC was promising that refineries will start working. There were promises, and they were made in glowing voices and firmness. And where is the refinery? So moving away from talking to doing is where we have the problem. Let's bridge that gap. So if people can sit down with the relevant teams of the president today and work to see that things actually move away from promises and promises and promises to doing. Do you know when we've been told that this refinery will start bringing out fuel? If they say it this month, by the time the month is about over, we'll hear it will be next month, it will be next month, it will be. Are they going to ever work? If they're also not going to work, can we at least level up with the people and say, okay, these things are probably never going to work? Should we sell them as they are? You know, I don't see much of those, including even the expectations of the protesters. How will the speech serve their interests? They want to lower the price of food items in Nigeria today. It's not speech that will do it.
Of course, you're a financial development expert. So now, and you heard all those numbers that were rolled out yesterday. But like you said, it hasn't translated to, you haven't really seen the impact.
Exactly.
Eggs still cost what they cost. The cost of living is still as high as ever. So now, for the rest of the year, I'm just wondering what your predictions are. Based on your financial expertise, your development expertise, what are your predictions for what the Nigerian economy is going to look like at the end of 2024?
Okay, I'll put a big if before it. Some of the things that the president said are actually good. So, as a temporary measure, an immediate measure to ensuring that food prices can come down, that I've removed the tariffs. Can that be followed through to be sure that tariffs are removed? If it is removed, it means we can actually get cheaper food being imported. Why did I say, can we follow through? I remember when I was in healthcare, and there was an announcement that certain tariffs have been removed from healthcare equipment. We had imported some equipment, and we told custom that these things, the government said tariff has been, they said, we also read it, that tariff has been removed. Essentially, there are certain transmissions that need to happen. That's an official document. And if those things don't happen, forget about speeches. So I hope that in this particular case, it has happened. That we'll have tariffs removed indeed on medications. We will have tariff removed on some of this food that are being imported into the country. It will help a great deal. We're also moving into some sort of harvest season. How do we ensure that people don't hijack, people with wrong intention don't hijack even the process, and food remain costly? Part of what we also need to do is look at those borders in the north. People come all the way from Burkina Faso to come and buy grains in Kano, for example. Now, if I'm a farmer, if the Burkina Faso guy is offering me something more interesting, the chances are high that I will take it. So, following through the CNG initiative, if we follow through and we deliver CNG, we will begin to see those changes. But my number one advocacy is to solve the food matter. If you solve the food matter, you will probably have cured 50% of this problem. So that the person who used to spend 50% of his income on food, but because it is now expensive, he spends 95%, can go back to that 50 and be able to consume more. It will not only help him as an individual and his family, it will help him to consume more goods and services, which will help manufacturers and providers of services, because that guy now has a little more gap to consume. So following through all those promises and making sure they happen, and we can have a better place. We can have a reduced cost, a reduced inflation before the end of the year.
All right, so we need to round up, but just in a couple of sentences before we go, a lot of people are reading the speech as a summary and saying, the president said, I have heard you, now please go home. Your thoughts on that?
I think essentially that is what it is. We have heard you. We're doing something. The same thing we had told you we were doing, we're still doing it, so go home now. But people are now saying, okay, we need to see those things manifest. So you're doing this on prices. Can we begin to feel it on the street when we price those items? And that's a challenge for the president himself, to ensure that those promises happen for us.
Amen. For now, we'd like to
skyrocketing price of basic goods and services are squeezing the life out of Nigerians. We can barely afford the essentials anymore. Food, shelter, healthcare, these have become luxury for many. This is not just an economic issue, it is a humanitarian crisis. The government failure to control inflation in a direct assault on our quality of life. We demand immediate measures to stabilize the naira and fix the broken economy. The youth of this nation, our supposed future, are languishing without jobs. We are a generation full of potential, but we are being wasted because of a stagnant job market. The government talks a big game about job creation, but where are the results? It's time for real investment in sectors like manufacturing, agriculture, and technology. We need jobs, not empty promises. Encourage entrepreneurship, provide funding, and let's get this country working again. Let's call it what it is. Corruption is the cancer eating away at Nigerians. Our leaders are more interested in leaning their own pocket than serving the people. This is unacceptable. We need to strengthen our anti-corruption institution, hold corrupt officials accountable, and recover stolen assets. Enough is enough. We are done watching our country's wealth being stifled off by a greedy few. Our infrastructure is a joke. Back road, unreliable electricity, poor water supply, and sober telecom. How are we supposed to thrive in such conditions? We need massive investment in infrastructure, and we need it now. The government must prioritize public-private partnership to fund these critical projects. We cannot build a modern economy on crumbling foundation. Nigerians' over-reliance on oil is a tickling time bomb. The global oil market is a volatile, and we can't keep all our eggs in one basket. We need to diversify our economy and develop other sectors like agriculture, mining, tourism, and manufacturing, innovation, and support for small, medium-sized enterprise. Our education system is failing. We need to overhaul it and align it with demands of a modern economy. We need vocational training, higher education, and skills development. We can't keep calling out graduates who can't find jobs because they are not equipped with the right. Let's not forget the most vulnerable among us. The government must establish a comprehensive social safety net, access to healthcare, unemployment benefit, and food security program. These aren't just nice to have. They are essential for protecting our people from the worst impact of this crisis, and they must be managed efficiently and transparently. No more waste, no more corruption. If you are watching this, kindly like, comment, and share this video on every social media platform. Let our message spread like wildfire, and don't forget to click the notification icon to stay updated with our latest posts.
And stay tuned for our next video.